Deputy Vice Chancellor of Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, Registrar, the Bursar, University Librarian, Provost of the College of Medicine, Provost of the Postgraduate College, the Dean, Faculty of the Social Sciences, Deans of other faculties and of students, Directors of institutes and centers, heads of departments, the 12th Vice Chancellor of this university, Vice Chancellors of other universities, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The 615th University of Ibadan inaugural lecture will be delivered this evening by Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi on behalf of the Faculty of the Social Sciences. Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi was born on 21 January 1963 in Ikolimkiti to the family of Mr. Samuel and Mrs. Elizabeth Folakemi Ajayi Tinkayi. After his secondary education at Araromi Opu Grammar School, Araromi Opu, in the present-day Ondo State in 1983, he was admitted to study bachelor's degree in geography at the University of Ibadan in 1986. He obtained the Bachelor of Science, BSc Honors degree in 1990, Masters of Science degree in 1992, and Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, in 1998, all from the University of Ibadan. He was first appointed as lecturer grade 2 on 15 December 1999. He was promoted to the grade of lecturer 1 on 1 October 2003, senior lecturer 1 October 2006, reader 1 October 2013, and professor 1 October 2018. Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi was a recipient of the Ondo State Scholarship Merit Award in 1990 and a PhD small grant for thesis writing of the Council of Development of Economic and Social Science Research in Africa, Odessa, Dakar, Senegal, in 1993. He is a member of a number of learned societies, among which include the Association of Nigerian Geographers, Society of International Development, Rome, Italy, Social Science Academy of Nigeria, and the European Association of Geographers. Professor Dixon Ajayi has served the university in various capacities. He was the undergraduate examination officer during the year 2000-2001, as well as 2005-2006 academic session. Coordinator field work, the year 2000 to 2010. Coordinator industrial training, the year from the year 2000 to 2010, and postgraduate coordinator between 2011 and 2015. He was a member of the Faculty of the Social Sciences Planning Committee between the year 2000 and 2006 and the year 2017 to 2019. Associate Editor, Ibadan Planning Journal, the publication of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, University of Ibadan, between 2011 till date. Coordinator, Student Leadership Development Program, Faculty of the Social Sciences, from 2007 to 2012. He He was acting head Department of Geography, University of Ibadan from August 1, 2017 to July 31, 2019, and substantive head Department of Geography, University of Ibadan from August 1, 2023 to July 31st, 2025. Professor Ajayi has taught at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels over the years. He has been an adjunct lecturer on disaster and risk management at the Center for Sustainable Development between 2011 to date. Also at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation between 2015 and 2018. He was the coordinator Environmental Management Program of the Pan-African University Life and Earth Science Institute, including Health and Agricultural Policy between 2017 to 2019 and the year 2023 to 2025. He is an adjunct lecturer at the Master of Research and Public Policy Program and has been supported in partnership by Partnership of African Social and Governance Research Pathway between 2015 to date. He has supervised several Bachelors of Science, BSc Original Essays, Masters of Science, MSc dissertations, and 12 Doctors of Science, PhD theses. He was a member of the board of the postgraduate school in 2015. He was also associate editor, Ibadan Journal of the Social Sciences between 2021 till date. Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi was an assistant hall warden of Kuti Hall, University of Ibadan between 2005 and 2008. Hall warden, Kuti Hall, University of Ibadan from 1 August 2008 to 2011, and also a member of University Senate from 1 August 2007 to date. Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi has been external examiner and assessor to various universities within and outside Nigeria. These institutions include University of Lagos, Akoka, the Lagos State University of Jos, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ilefe, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Adeyemi Federal University of Education, Ondo, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agogo, Federal University, Lokoja, Redeemers University, Ede, University of Fort Alice in South Africa, and the Institute of Geography and Development Studies, the School of Environmental Sciences, Njara University in Sierra Leone. Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi has consulted for a number of establishments, which include the IRT Species Consulting, which is an academic and management research publication from Zimbabwe in collaboration with Species College. Also, Services PPT Limited in Nairobi, Kenya in 1993. Liberalization Policy and Nigeria's Agricultural Marketing and Pricing System. Policy Research Group, Ibadan, 1996. Traffic Management in Metropolitan Lagos, Federal Ministry of Transport in 1996. And Impact Assessment of Federal Urban Mass Transit Program in Nigerian cities, the National Planning Commission Abuja in 1997, among many others. Professor Dixon Ajayi has a total of 74 publications to his credit. This includes 1 teaching manual, 15 chapters in books, 57 journal articles in reputable outlets, and 1 technical report. Professor Dixon Ajayi is happily married to Dr. Patricia Iyore Ajayi, and the marriage is blessed with 3 promising children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I invite Professor Dixon Dari Ajayi to deliver his lecture, which is titled Spatial Linkages and Regional Development. Professor Ajayi.
the Vice Chancellor, sir. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnership. Registrar, University Librarian, Provost of the College of Medicine and of the Postgraduate College, Dean of the Faculty of the Social Sciences, Deans of other faculties and of students, Directors of institutes and centers, distinguished guests, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen. To the glory of God, I have the privilege to deliver this 615th inaugural lecture of the University of Ibadan, Nigeria's premier and best university today. I thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor K.O. Adebowale Affairs, Dean Faculty of the Social Sciences, Professor O.B. Ezike, and the Department of Geography for giving me this opportunity. This opportunity is gracefully acknowledged. The first inaugural lecture from the Department of Geography was delivered by Professor B.J. Gardner in 1951. Mine is the 17th inaugural lecture from the Department of Geography, seated 8. Introduction. The Vice Chancellor, drawing from the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, 2023, spatial linkages refers to the interdependencies, connections, and relationships between different geographical locations, where activities in one area influences conditions in another. These connections are defined by spatial interactions. Spatial interaction is based on the principles of complementarity, intervening opportunity, and transferability. In the modern context, spatial linkages go beyond the physical, for they also include those linkages provided by electronic devices. Spatial linkages are an important component of the regional development process. Regional development is a comprehensive, often policy-driven effort at developing a region. It has evolved from traditional top-down approaches focused on large-scale infrastructure to, more recently, a place-based approach that emphasizes local assets, innovation, and sustainable endogenous growth. Regional development is thus the process through which human activities shape geographical diversity. Regional development can be national or international in nature. The objectives are to promote development, growth, and competitiveness of the regions, the well-being of residents, and the quality of the living environment. Regional development is about the geography of wealth and its evolution. Regional development involves the enhancement of wealth, living conditions, and future prospects in regions understood as subnational regions. It includes the growth of production, employment, and income based on a competitive and innovative economy, as well as an improvement of social, political, and environmental conditions in those territories. Quality regional development policy is essential for inclusive economic outcomes, well-being, environmental sustainability, and resilience. It could be in any of the types of regions. There are 3 main types. You have the formal, functional, and perpetual, or vernacular, as the case may be. The purpose of this lecture, based on my research, is significance of products of contracting as the related flows and the contents of regional development. Apart from this introduction, the issue of interest addressed are in three sectors. These are industrial products of contracting linkages, productions of contracting linkages and regional development, and insights from my research. Industrial products of contracting linkages. Industrial productions of contracting linkages is a technique whereby part of a firm's production is handled by other independent firms. It is also a system in which firms perform different tasks in a chain of production. It is thus the concentration of production processes into smaller units over space. In developed market economies, such as the United States of America, the rise of products of contracting is attributable to the performance problems caused by capital redundancy and labor militancy. According to Prowry and Sable, 1984, Cook, 1988. Some researchers, Corbett, 1986, Walker, 1988, Stopper and Walker, 1989, Best, 1990, also attribute the rise of products of contracting to the strategic responses of firms towards rapid market changes, increased international competition, and the corresponding development of new modes of corporate competition, which are based on interfirm consultative coordination and continuous improvement in the production process. Production subcontracting provides firms the benefit of reduced investment risks, strengthens control over the labor process, and foster response to technological and market changes. In addition, it promotes exchanges between firms in many forms and provides production systems increased viability for long-term growth and development. And furthermore, it plays an important role in the restructuring of some industrial sectors, both at national and international levels. Perhaps this explains why international subcontracting links to the development of free trade areas. An export processing zone has become of particular interest to international agencies, such as the United Nations Industrial Development Organization and the World Bank. The development of products of contracting is not confined to the developed market economies. A number of major developing market economies, such as Hong Kong, Taiwan, and the People's Republic of China, have also experienced similar changes. These changes are attributable to the strategic needs of firms to expand production and or to reduce cost pressures associated with labor shortages or labor cost. This was espoused by Williamson in 1975, 1979, 1984, 1985, Scott 1983, 1986, 1988, Shen 1983, and Stopper and Scott 1990, and Federation of the Hong Kong Industry 1990. Generally, production subcontracting takes either the transaction cost perspective or locational dispersion. The transaction cost perspective posits that production subcontracting promotes locational agglomeration because external transaction costs between firms in the market, including transportation and communication costs, increase with distance. The propensity to agglomerate locationally increases further, either when transaction includes small-scale, irregular, unstandardized or contact-intensive activities that have high unit linkage costs, or when firms seek to reduce demand fluctuations by improving their customer base through locational clustering. This locational tendency, according to Stopper and Scott 1989, is associated with a flexible regime of capital accumulation or mode of corporate organization, characterized by intense internal transactions between firms as a result of unstable market conditions. Flexible regime of accumulation encompasses new forms of production, characterized by a well-developed ability to shift promptly from one process and or products arrangement to another. It is a mechanism for rapidly adjusting to changes in the market without harmful effects on the level of efficiency. On the other hand, the locational dispersal perspective on production subcontracting involves when the transaction is bulky, stable, standardized, or easily manageable activities that have no unit linkage costs. These activities contain primarily routine scale production processes and are dispersed to peripheral areas where labor or land costs are low. Consequent on this is the emergence of the special and international division of labor, with the centers dominating in standardized skilled labor and the hinterlands depending on routine unskilled activities. This locational tendency is associated with a furthest regime of capital accumulation, typified by keeping internal transactions within the firms as a result of stable market circumstances. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I shall now turn to the significance of production subcontracting in the regional development process. Production subcontracting linkages and regional development. There is clearly a relationship between production subcontracting linkages and regional development. My research and those of others have clearly shown this relationship. Ajayi 2001, 2003, 2017. The various researches have indicated that production subcontracting and the associated flows impact regional development in the following main aspects: addressing regional disparities, the establishment and development of micro, small, and medium-scale industries, and 3, the facilitation of the growth of transport systems. Special disparities have attracted considerable interest. Considering inequality at a regional level offers useful insight for policy makers, for it facilitates the assessment of the effectiveness of strategies aimed at reducing regional disparity and bringing about development. The interaction among regional units are fundamental in the development process. It is these interactions, as Gonamida 1957-06, that will ultimately lead to spatial equilibrium. The growth in developed regions may lead subsequently to development in the underdeveloped regions to a regional effect. It is in this context that production subcontracting addresses regional disparities in development. The destination of the flow, in my own case, is the Lagos region, while the origins are the relatively less developed areas supplying what is needed by firms in the Lagos region. The relationship works in such a way that the growth in Lagos over time has positive effects on the development of the origins of the flow. Production subcontracting, as experience indicates, leads to the development and growth of micro, small, and medium-sized industries. Production subcontracting has encouraged micro, small, and medium manufacturing businesses to participate in greater subcontracting while employing firm-specific techniques to acquire superior capabilities and become more competitive. A study on the European Union, 2009, identified several ways in which producers of contracting can promote the development and growth of small-scale industries. These include 1, expansion of SMEs, businesses opportunities. 2, facilitation of higher efficiency. 3, increased rates of utilization of the resource capacity. And 4, source of knowledge and technology transfer. A study in India, Kumar and Somaya, 2010, indicates the very critical role of subcontracting can play in the development of technology necessary for the development of micro, small, and medium-scale industry. A study in Nigeria, in Wokosha and Okonsha, 2022, indicates that even in the developing countries, subcontracting plays a critical role in the development of micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is evident from the experience in the Onitsha region, Anambra State, Nigeria. Production subcontracting is also sometimes critical in the development of transportation systems. Economic activities cannot take place without the infrastructure base. This is more so as the intensive use of the transport sector is an important component of regional development. The development of products of contracting relationship necessitates flows, which of course must be through transportation systems. In other words, it is always necessary to provide transportation infrastructure between the origin and the destinations of products of contracting relationships. In most cases, the required transportation infrastructure is usually in place before the emergence of a production subcontract relationship. Where such infrastructure already exists, the emphasis is on improvement. In certain cases, such infrastructure may be non-existent. Thus, the provision of such infrastructure is inevitable if the production subcontracting system must work effectively. The development of an efficient transportation system is a basic requirement for products of contracting linkage. This is especially so as products subcontracted must be transported to the subcontracting firms or firms. Mr. Vice Chancellor, insights from my research. My research over the years on products of contracting and flows and the impact on regional development has focused on the Nigerian situation. See Ajayi 2000, Ajayi 2001, Ajayi 2002, Ajayi 2003A, Ajayi 2003B, Ajayi 2004, 2006, 2007. Ajayi and Fabrica 2012, and Ajayi and Ajayi 2017. I've analyzed production subcontracting relationship between firms in 2 of the largest cities in Nigeria with other parts of Nigeria. These cities and their associated regions are Lagos and Ibadan. My research has thrown up several instances on production subcontracting and the associated flows on the one hand, and regional development on the other hand. I shall examine each of these Lagos and Ibadan sector for each throws up peculiar insights. Insights from the Lagos region. The analysis on the Lagos region is divided into 2. These are the within Lagos situation and the between Lagos and the other parts of the country. The within Lagos situation is depicted in Table 1 and figures 1 to 5, as can be seen on the slides. Table 1, for instance, shows the items of subcontracting relations within the Lagos region. The situation is such that plastic crates required by subcontractors in Agbara Industrial Estate area are produced by firms in the Industrial Estate and area. Whereas metal cans required by subcontractors in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, and Ikorodu Road, Ojota Industrial Estate and areas are received from firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, and Sango Industrial Estate. More syrup required by contracting firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri Industrial Estate are from firms within the estate. Labels required by contracting firms in Agbara Industrial Estate are received from firms located in the Solo Industrial Estate. In chemicals and pharmaceutical industry group, plastic jar and bottles required by contractors in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oregun, Inupeju, and Agbara Industrial Estate are received from firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Isolo, Sangota, and Agbara Industrial Estate. Detergents and sunscreen required by contracting firms in Inupeju and Agbara Industrial Estate are received from firms located in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oregun, Isolo, Igomu, Matu, Sangota, and Agbara Industrial Estate. Drugs required by contracting firms in Oshodi, Ajayi, and Igomu Industrial Estate are produced by firms located in Oregun and Agbara Industrial Estate. Metal cans required by contracting firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oregun, Isolo, Inupeju, and Agbara Industrial Estate are received from firms located in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Sango, Ota, Agbara, and Apapa Tinkan Island Industrial Estate. In the pulp, paper, and paper products industry group, publishing and printing services required by contracting firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oregun, and Inupeju Industrial Estate areas are provided by firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oregun, Inupeju, Oshodi, Ajayi, Mato, and Mushin, Surulere Industrial Estate. Spinach and yarns required by contractors in the textile, wear, and apparel, and leather industry group in Ogba, Isheri, Oshodi, Ajayi, Isolo, Inupeju, Mushin, Surulere, Ijora, Igomu, and Sangota Industrial Estate. Areas are from firms in Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Oshodi, Ajayi, Isolo, Inupeju, Mushin, Surulere, and Igomu Industrial Estate. The pattern of linkages from flows is depicted in figures 1 to 5. The major flows are from Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri, Agbara, and the Solo Industrial Estate to Sangota, Oregun Industrial Estate. The least significant ones are from Agbara to Mushin, Agbara to Yaba, and Oregun to Yaba Industrial Estate. Apart from the general increase in the volume of inter-estate subcontracting linkages over time, one other feature of subcontracting linkages within the Lagos region is the complexity of this linkage. In fact, the subcontracting linkages became more complex over the years. This complexity is reflected by the number of flows. For instance, the number of industrial estates having subcontracting linkages with Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri Industrial Estate increased from 8 in 1990 to 11 by 1994, while the number of industrial estates receiving contracting linkages from Ikeja, Ogba, Isheri Industrial Estate increased from 6 in 1990 to 7 by 1994. The number of estates having subcontracting linkages with Yaba Industrial Estate increased from 3 in 1990 to 4 by 1994. Igomu Industrial Estate had subcontracting linkages with 5 other industrial estates in 1990 and with 7 industrial estates by 1994. Indeed, subcontracting linkages within the Lagos region became more complex in successive years. There is high concentration of subcontracting linkages around Ikeja, Oregun, Oshodi, Isolo, Ilupelu, and Igomu Industrial Estate. Sangwater, Abara, and Igomu also have high concentration of subcontracting linkages, given the high concentration of industries. Table 2 and figures 6 to 10 depicts this subcontracting relationship between the Lagos region and the other parts of the country. Table 2 shows that in the paper and paper products industry group, publishing and printing are carried out by firms in Benin City. Only plastic crates in the food, beverages, and tobacco industry group are received from firms in Ilorin, Kaduna, Kano, and Shagamu. In chemical and pharmaceutical industry group, in addition to products, soap are received from firms in Ilorin, PAV, and aerosol from firms in Owerri, and industrial cotton and starch from firms in Ibadan. Translucent sheets, paints, and solvents in basic metals, iron and steel, and fabricated metal products are produced by firms in Port Harcourt. In the paper and paper products, printing and publishing industry group, publishing and printing are carried out by firms in Benin and Ibadan. In textile, wearing apparels and leather industry group, whereas finance and tan are received from firms in Ikorodu, Kano, and Zaria. Tarpaulin materials are received from firms in Zaria. Leather tanning is carried out by firms in Jos, Kano, and Sokoto. While chemicals and nylon wrappers are received from firms in Ibadan, foams and plastic shells, plastic containers, and cylinder turners required in the wood and wood product industry group are received from firms in Ibadan. The subcontracting linkages between the Lagos region and other parts of the country is reflected in figures 6 to 10. There are very few locations outside the Lagos region. And the figures indicate, Kano and Sokoto are the most significant sources. These sources account for about 23% of the flows. Other significant locations are Zaria and Port Harcourt. Mr. Vice Chancellor, insight from the Lagos region, I painted the general scenario, concentrate on the Lagos region. My study has clearly shown the significance of distance in products of contracting linkages. This is so, given that linkages are highly concentrated and over short distance. The Lagos region is the most critical source of the subcontracting relationship. Other important sources are not very distant from Lagos. This includes Ikorodu, Shagamu, Ibadan, Ilorin, Benin. The significance of complementarity is very apparent in the various diagrams. Beyond the concentration near the Lagos region, there are no other sources close by. The other sources are all in the far north. This is because there are no significant locations in the middle belt areas of the country capable of generating subcontracting relationship with the Lagos region. The basic reason for this is that ecology is a very significant factor in the availability of resources in the country. In other words, the Guinea Savannah region of the country is not a significant zone that attracts population and industrialization. Complementarity is a very significant concept in economic geography. It is one of the variables in what has come to be known as Ullman's triad, Ullman 1956. Complementarity denotes a demand-supply relationship. There can only be flows if there is a supply in one location and a demand in another. In the context of my analysis, there is a demand in the Lagos region and a supply in locations in the far north. For instance, leather products, spinach, yarn, because of ecological factors, cannot be available in the forest and Guinea Savannah regions of the country. These are readily available in the Sudan and Sahel ecological zones. This partly explains the subcontractual relationship between Kano and Sokoto on the one hand and the Lagos region on the other. As the figures 1 to 10 indicate, there is an increasing complexity in the subcontractual relationship and flows. It is possible to argue that it is a natural process. However, natural processes cannot provide all the explanations. It is to be expected that for those subcontracting relationships will decline during a period of economic downturn. Be that as it may, the responses of the industrialists in my Lagos study indicate that rather than decreasing, subcontracting relationship increased during the economic downturn that characterized the structural adjustment program SAP of the 1980s in Nigeria. The explanation the industrialists gave is based on the advantages that accompany products of contracting. The significance of political boundary is also reflected in the result of my research. Political geographers have clearly indicated the impact that political boundary will have on the location and functioning of economic activities. Political boundaries are not just lines in space, for they influence various dimensions of human activities. As the figures 1 to 10 indicate, all the subcontracting relationship of the firms in the Lagos region are within the country. It is possible that relationship with firms in Benin Republic, Togo, and Ghana, if the political boundary factor were not overwhelming, would have been the idea. The obstacles of custom formality would not encourage this evil if there were potential complementarity. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, insight from the Ibadan region. The Ibadan study, unlike that of Lagos, did not cover all industries in the region. It is based on the situation in one major industrial estate, Oluyole Industrial Estate, the Ajayi, in 2017. The study covered all the 24 firms in the estate. These firms may be classified into seven groups using International Standard Industrial Classification, ISIC. These are food and beverages, basic metal, iron and steel, chemical and pharmaceuticals, plastic and rubber, pulp and paper products, non-metallic mineral products, and wood products. The food and beverages group is the most prominent in terms of subcontracting relationship. Typically, the origins of the flows are localized around southwestern part of Nigeria. The localization is a reflection of a system of relationship that is of interest to industrial development. The relatively short distances over which subcontracting of course reflect the fact that the products of subcontracting are relatively speaking more or less ubiquitous. As Alfred Weber indicates in his industrial allocation theory, Weber 1909, where the resources needed for industrial production are found everywhere, the transportation factors in location becomes insignificant. What is important is the market consideration. Mr. Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, permit me to give the conclusion to this lecture. I have in this lecture analyzed the critical role of special linkages, especially industrial productions of contracting as a tool for regional development. Clearly, I have demonstrated the relationship between products of contracting linkages and regional development. Products of contracting have several advantages. This includes reduction of investment risks, strengthening control over the labor process, and fostering response to technological and market changes. It also promotes exchanges between firms in many forms and provides increased viability for long-term growth. In addition, it also plays an important role in the structuring of some industrial sectors, both at the national and international levels. Productions of contracting and its associated flows generate regional development. This includes the establishment and development of micro, small, and medium-scale industries, and the facilitation of the growth of transport systems. It also addresses disparities in regional development. There are a number of insights that emerge from my research. This includes the significance of distance, the significance of complementarity, the significance of ecological factors, and the importance of political boundaries in shaping the nature of production contracting and the associated flows. The paradox that emerged from my research is that productions of contracting increased during the period of economic downturn. Productions of contracting could be employed as a veritable tool for regional development in Nigeria. My research and my analysis point to the fact that this could be in two broad areas. These are generating industrialization in the undeveloped regions and ensuring that there are no marked regional disparities in development. The strategy they employed at two geographical levels. These are the regional and the national level. In other words, the strategy could be employed by the states and by the federal government. This involves the identification of lagging regions and the prosperous ones. It also involves a detailed analysis of the resource base of the lagging region. For instance, in Oyo State, the lagging region is northern Europe, while the prosperous one is the Ibadan region. The mobilization of private capital and cooperation among investors, states, and federal government are necessary for this strategy to succeed. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, acknowledge this. I give glory to God for making this day a reality. I'm eternally grateful to Professor Chris O. my Oga, and his wife for my development as an academic in this university. Professor Ekoropo did not only take me on as a doctoral candidate through the completion of my thesis, but also a lot more. For all this, I say thank you, sir. To my esteemed lecturers, Professor Emeritus Professor R.K. Udo, Professor Olusegun O. Areola, Professor Bola Ayeni, Professor Stanley Okafor, Professor Adejumoke A. Afolayan, Professor A. O. Aweto, Professor A.S. Badegesi, Doctors O.P. Alohan, and Dr. Frederick O.A. Dada. I say big thank you. I'm also grateful Grateful to the late emeritus Professors Adetoye Fadimo, Sylvester Abumere, Festus O. Akintola, Professor Johnson O. Ayade, and Professor Bosede F. King. May their gentle souls rest in perfect peace. I'm indebted to my colleagues in the Department of Geography for all the support. They are Professor Soduto Fashai, the current head of the Department of Geography, Professor Ebidun Adelekon, Professor Lalekan J. Professor Yindiba Akinye, Dr. Tolu Oshayomi, Christiana Eniola, A.A. Adola, H.D. Olanino, Femi Olanino, Deborah Ayodele, Dr. Adeyefa, Aro Obatero, O.O. Adi, and Mr. J. Olumoye, and MS George C. Igozurike. To all the non-academic staff, Ms. Veronica Usua, Borokini, Akambi, Yetunde Oladipo, Peace, Obashi. I say thank you all. I wish to place on record the support of the technical staff of the department, among which are Messrs. O.E. Olofino, E.A. Adele, and particularly the cartographic team, Messrs. R.O. Ademu and O. Amza, for all the support. To my doctoral candidates, among which include Professor O. I. Babatimen of Obafemi Awolowo University Department of Geography. He should have been here, but he had another official engagement at the university. Then Professor A.O. Oluwakola, Doctors F.O. Ayegagede, A.S. Oyekomi, C.E. Dene, Sidima J. Jeremiah, O.O. Bishoge, Gloria Kasa, Angela Ide, Olufemi Okeni, K. Babaremi, and Z.M. Kona. I appreciate you all. Acknowledge the support of Professors A.J. Scott, Leverage Center for Regional and Policy Studies, C.K. Leon, California State University, Fresno, Asia Yem, School of Geography, University of Washington, Seattle, E.L. Ekeberry, Carroll, School of History, University of Texas at Austin, Dres Holling, University of Iowa, and then Linkage of Economic Geography for all the support. I'm grateful to the entire members of the Chapel of Resurrection, and in particular our Father in the Lord, the chaplain, the very Dr. V.I. Oladele, for all the prayers and support. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the brethren and pastors in the Lord here present with us, and those who could not come for being there always. And special appreciation goes to my brothers and friends, in particular Professor Olubenga Emmanuel Ige, the Vice Chancellor at Adekunle Ajayi University, Akumba Akoko, in Ondo State, who is readily seated with us here, and his contemporary, Professor Emmanuel Temi Ologun, the Vice Chancellor, University, Olusegun Agagu, University of Science and Technology of Okitipupa, Ondo State, for being ever supportive. I'm grateful to my friends, among which are Professor Olutoyin Adelokun, Dr. Emmanuel Olushuyi, Pastor Shola Adesola, Pastor Olatayo Odeyemi, Mr. Bisi Ogunkale, Engineer Shegun Agor George, Mr. Shegun Amigbengamon, Elder Yinka Adele, Taye Adele, and Oyewole Okunsa. My appreciation goes to the entire members of the Palace Senior Staff Club, University of Ibadan, under the leadership of the KBSC, Dr. Bola Tuboso. I'm also grateful to my very good friends, Professor Rashid Akanji Okunla and Dr. Babatunde Oyekan, for all the thought-provoking discussions. I thank most sincerely members of the Senior Staff Club, University of Ibadan. I'm eternally grateful to all the members of the planning committee of this event for all the efforts. I appreciate the financial support of the Council for the Development of Social Research in Africa, CODESPIA, Dakar, Senegal, for the financial support for the research, part of which findings are reported in this lecture. To the members of Club 40 collective, I say a big thank you for your support all the way. Particular mention must however be made of Dr. Pastor Dewumi Ojo, Professor Olusegun Ajayi, Engineer Sam Ajayi, Engineer Olufemi Adewumi, Engineer Kayode Akomolafia, Honorable Nelson Omotayo, Mrs. Tomi Awushise, Messrs. Leti Ojo, Elder Bandi Olale, and all other members of our great club. I'm forever grateful to the entire members of the Fulani dynasty, the collective, and the global for your interest and support in my development. I'm particularly grateful to the emeritus Professor Michael Olaniwaju Fulani and his wife, Mrs. Olabimpe F. Fulani, for the support and encouragement for all people. This support is appreciated. I am grateful to my brothers and sisters, among which include Pastor Banji Fulani, Pastor Shegun Fulani, Evangelist Mrs. Mukwenola Ogunide, Prophetess Felicia Olawi, Mr. Benga Fulani, and all other members of the family, both at home and abroad. I'm also grateful to the entire Bohemian family of Urubi, Edo State. You know the indication of that. Elders Joseph Ogunsakin, Elder Daria BBC, the Famorotis, I must thank them first. The Famorotis, the Ajayis are collected. The Olorun families of Isaba are collected. The Falatis of Ikoyi collected. The Olayiwolas of Ilora, and the Ajayi Sekayi of Osim collected. To my mother, Madam Elizabeth Folake, that the circumstances of fate passed on 48 years ago. I say big thank you to you for everything. I'm eternally grateful to Mama, Chief Mrs. Juliana, at the community. Finally, I'm grateful to our children, Ibukun Oluwase, and Oluwabemileke, and to my dear wife, Dr. Patricia Iyore Ajayi, for your understanding. I thank you all.